Hey guys, it's me Giuseppe, and today I'm at my local Home Depot store to do a Halloween tour. So let's go see what they've got. Right here, we've got the animated Cursed Clover. He's like the evil leprechaun from the Leprechaun movie, and he's super cool, and he's also pretty creepy, so let me get him going. And I believe his mouth does move, however, this one's mouth is not moving, but that's okay. He's still super really cool. And he was super cool, so now let's move on to the customizable skeleton, who is on a motion sensor, I believe. Yup. And this guy is super cool. He already has an LED kit. He has interchangeable LCD eyes. You can move his fingers and stuff, and you can customize him to do anything and say anything you want. So he's super cool. Yeah, you can see now he switched to the swirly eyes, and he did a high-pitched voice when he said right. So he's super cool. Then right here it says Fear Valley Wolf, but I do not see the Fear Valley Wolf. However, they do have the horrifying hickory tree, which is super cool. But anyways, let's move on to the next animatronic. Right here we have the giant wyvern dragon. He's super cool, and I'm pretty sure you can also hook a fog machine up to him to make him look like he's breathing fire, which is super cool. Alright, he was awesome, but anyways, let's move on to the next animatronic. So right here we have Skelly's cat, which this is like Skelly's dog that released last year, but this year they added a cat, so you can have a dog and a cat, or just a dog. And they also released a new version of the dog, which is the sitting dog, and he has the LCD eyes. However, they're not on right now, which is okay. And he's still super really cool. Same with the cat. And then right here we have this guy. He's like the trickster trio with the clowns from last year, but this year we got the zombie trio stack. So let me turn them on. And you can also unstack them and have them separate from each other.
This is the spot for the best brains. Well, I'd rather eat rats for dinner. This one's a dud. Why not both? Rats.
I like that guy. He's cool with the barbed wire bat.
For the main course, even if it is on the lower grade side. Whatever. I'm hungry. Let's eat.
And they were super cool, but anyways, let's move on to the grave robber. He's like the grave digger from last year. However, he has a jump scare, which is super cool. He's super cool, and he's got that little skull that pops out right there, which is super cool. He's especially good for a graveyard display. But anyways, let's move on to the Fiery Reaper. So let me get him going. And he is lighting up, so he's got to be on. However, he's not turning on, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. So let's move on to the Zombie Barber. And will he turn on? And it doesn't seem for him to turn on, which is okay, which they all are lighting up, but it seems like they might be on the light up mode, which I know they have a mode where they just light up, and they also have a on mode or a try me mode, so they must not be on try me mode, but that's okay. So all these animatronics were super cool, but anyways, let's move on to the next one. So right here we've got Tiffany and Chucky, which I have the Chucky from last year, the original version of Chucky. This is the scarred version, which is still super cool, and it seems that they don't have any try me buttons or anything, which is okay, but they still are super cool to see not on. And they are both cool animatronics. I would like to get the Tiffany to go next to my Chucky. I don't know about getting him because I already have Chucky and I don't really need two of them. but they are super cool. And this guy, they do have a lot of him in stock, and last year it was really hard to get my Chucky, so if you want this Chucky, you're in luck because they do seem to have a lot of stock of him. But anyways, let's move on to the next thing. Alright, so over here we've got some inflatables in stock, this cool Oogie Boogie. Then they have some of these little mini animatronics, which are always super cool if you don't want to buy any of the big ones. And they got all these cool little skeleton animals, and they have Skelly's sitting dog in stock. They have the cat. They have the Fiery Reaper, the Leprechaun, and also the Zombie Barber. Then they have these cool pumpkins, these light up pumpkins. This skull guy, which he does talk. Super cool. They have these French bulldogs with like prisoner jail outfits, which is super cool. Then up there they have that Oogie Boogie inflatable I was talking about. Then they have Mini Skelly, which I don't have Mini Skelly, but I do have Mini Inferno Pumpkin, which is super cool. And then they got the new release for this year. They have Mini Dean, so I'll take him down. And if you don't know who Dean is, he is a Halloween animatronic from Home Depot. He's like a skeleton waiter, which is super cool. Then they have this, which I like even better, the Mini Whirlcrow, because I actually own the 15-foot Whirlcrow myself, so it's super cool to see a mini version of him. Which is interesting because they don't usually release the mini versions the year the prop was made, so it's cool to see that they did that this year. And they also have his arms, which are in a plastic bag that you can add on to him. But anyways, let's move on to the next animatronic. Alright, so right here they do have some skeletons and stuff. And they have the ultra posable corpse, which is super cool, and you can move his fingers and stuff, move his arms, and that's super cool. And then I'm gonna show you the 15-foot Whirlcrow. Alright, so right here, I was gonna show you the 15-foot Whirlcrow, and I actually am showing you him. However, for some reason he's missing a head, which is pretty interesting. I don't know why he is, especially because I know people who came to the store and told me he did have a head, so it's pretty weird. But it does say something about they only have how many ever left, or they sold one. So I'm wondering if they sold the display and they had to put up a new one, which the head was not included with. So I guess we'll never know, but it is a pretty interesting mystery. And then they do have some cool pumpkins right here, and then they have another mini Whirlcrow. Then they have a bunch of tombstones and all kinds of other cool stuff. But anyways, this is a super cool Halloween tour. All the animatronics for Home Depot are always so good every year. They're always mostly the best. And they also have the Twisted Archway of Souls, which did come out this year, so that's super cool. But anyways, I think that's a wrap-up for today's tour. So anyways, alright guys, thanks for watching. This was a super cool Halloween tour. Home Depot always does such a good job with their Halloween stuff. And especially with the Giants, they do a good job. And I also love all the animatronics, which they are starting to make like weatherproof animatronics and stuff, which is also super cool. And every Halloween item that they make is always so cool, and this was such a cool tour, and I'm so lucky I got to come here this year. And I also do get a lot of Halloween stuff from Home Depot, and if you haven't seen my Whirlcrow unboxing with the head, go make sure and to check it out, because it is a super cool unboxing. But anyways guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye!